Hey everyone, welcome back to the homestead. I am Nadine. Today I am working in my garden. I've actually been working out here for the past couple days getting my garden beds ready for planting. I'm kind of at my last couple beds here, and I figured I would bring you along for the last couple. That way I don't bore you with just moving wheelbarrows full of dirt. So basically what I'm doing is I'm getting the soil in the beds, not tilled, but I guess you could call it aeration. These beds, this will be my third season growing in them, and over time soil settles and becomes compacted, and you really don't want that in your raised beds. So I'm going through and aerating the beds. I'll show you what I'm using and how I'm doing that, and then I'm topping them off with compost that we've made here on our homestead using garden scraps, chicken manure, rabbit manure, bedding, quail manure, all of that stuff. So I've got quite a pile of compost back there to hopefully top off the rest of my beds here and then make my no-dig cut flower beds as well. I need to pick up some cardboard for those. But today, like I said, I'm just going to wrap up the last 3 beds that I need to top off with compost and get aerated. And then when I'm done, excuse me, when I'm done filling up the beds with compost, I cover them with a tarp or a sheet of plastic. And what this does is it forces any weed seeds or seeds left over from the gardening season prior. It forces them to germinate. And then because it's a black plastic, the sunlight can't get through, and so it just smothers those seedlings. So I don't have an overabundance of weeds or volunteer plants from the prior seasons in my garden beds. It just makes for a nice clean garden bed for the new growing season. So let me show you the beds that I'm working with, and then we will get started. So here is my garden. As you can see, all the ones that have tarps on it are the ones that I've completed this week. They've got a nice layer of loose loamy compost on there, and then this is the plastic that I've used to cover them. I just save it each season and reuse it for each bed until it's no good anymore, but I have a feeling it's going to last me quite a while. And then I just use rocks to hold it down. These are the beds that I have to finish. I just need to aerate them because, as you can see, it's loose, but it's compacted. So this is going to make it a little bit harder for roots to dig down through. So I'm going to use this tool over here. This is the tool I'm using. It's called a garden fork to aerate my soil. I'm not turning the soil over. I'm just breaking it up and allowing air to get down into it. And breaking up my soil like this will, like I said, allow it to be a little bit more airy, a little bit more loamy. And then when I add the new compost on top, the new holes and aeration in the old soil will allow the new compost to kind of work its way down in, allow worms and all of that good nutrition to get down into my soil beds just a little bit better. And just make overall a fantastic growing medium for all of my little seedlings that I'll be starting here this week as well. So let me get you guys set up on a tripod. We're going to go ahead and use that garden fork to loosen and aerate my soil, and then we're going to get some compost from my compost pile and top off the rest of these beds. I'm hopeful that I can get this done today. I'm expecting a week of rain starting tomorrow, and it'll be really hard to get out here and work in the mud. So I'm hoping I can get this done today. And then my garden will be ready for planting. Let's get to it. you can see, I didn't flip the soil. You don't want to flip it and cause too much disturbance with your microbiome in your soil. But I did loosen it up enough that this is all now loose and easy to garden in. It's going to be a lot easier for my plants to push their roots through. And then, like I said, when I add the new compost, all of these openings and holes are going to allow that compost to kind of work its way down into my soil bed, which will just add to the overall health and nutrition of my soil for my plants, which is what we're after. You want good, healthy soil to have strong, healthy plants. So I'm going to go ahead and garden fork the rest of my beds. And then once that's done, we will bring the compost in and get these topped off for the season. And then we'll get them covered and we should be done. Alrighty guys, I just finished topping off my last big bed. I have 2 little beds that I need to finish off, but I'm whooped guys. That was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, that was 9 wheelbarrows full of compost. I moved 12 yesterday. A couple days before that I moved 9. See, I'm tired. Send help. Before I tackle those 2 little ones, I'll probably do that another day. I usually just use those for potatoes. Unless I can wrangle my kids into helping me move some more dirt. Like I said, I'm tired. But now I just need to cover up these big beds. I've got my plastic under the table here, and we're just gonna take it over there and get the beds covered up, weigh it down with some rocks so they don't blow away. And then this will help force germinate any weed seed, any previous seed from last, or remaining seed from last year, and then smother anything that does sprout. That way we have a nice clean bed to work with for our new seeds and seedlings. So let's get our plastic, let's go cover up the beds, and then I think I'll wrap this up for the day. All of the main garden beds are topped off and covered. I still have these two smaller ones to do, but they shouldn't take too long. Well, that pretty much wraps up me moving compost for the year, with the exception of those last two beds and the no dig rows I want to do for my cut flowers. But I'm not too worried about getting those done today because I can't plant anything until after our last frost anyway, so those can wait a little bit. My garden beds, however, I wanted to get them covered because they need a couple weeks in order to force germinate all of those seeds in there and smother them out. So now that those are done, they'll have a good month to just kind of sit and bake before I have to plant anything in them, which is really good. So we'll have some nice clean beds to plant in come planting time, which is awesome. So if you guys have any questions about compost, topping off your beds, getting ready for grow season, all of that, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Like I said, I love hearing from you guys. I love answering your questions. I love helping you thrive in your homestead journey. So go ahead and leave those questions. Don't be afraid to ask. I'm happy to answer. And if I don't know the answer, I can point you in the right direction because there's tons and tons and tons of homesteaders out there with a wealth of information and different experiences. So don't be afraid to ask your questions. Alrighty guys, that wraps up this video. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. If you're not a subscriber, make sure you hit that bell for notifications that lets you know when anything new is up on the channel so you don't miss anything. And then thank you guys so much for watching as always, and remember to grow where you're planted.